Hello. Am I audible? Oh, my earphones are not working. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, let me just share my screen. Is it visible? Okay, let's close this. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just tell that which Revit version are you working in? Which is the Revit version do you have in your system?
I'm using a
2020.
Revit 24.
23.
Yes.
2023. Okay, so right now,
Am I audible to you, ma'am?
yes, I can hear you.
I'm using 24.
24. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just asking uh, to see which version I'll be teaching this. Okay, so I have 22 and 24. So we'll use 22 version to learn Dynamo. Okay, so 22 is open in my system, and this is the your Revit um, screen, and then we'll learn Dynamo today. So Dynamo comes in two packs. Dynamo comes as a plugin in Revit, which is this. If you go under Manage tab, you'll find Dynamo here. So just a quick question, have you guys ever known about Dynamo or worked on Dynamo before this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we'll be covering from basics. So we'll be learning Dynamo for Revit. There are two. One is Dynamo standalone version, which comes under one app. It will be a single app. You can work on it, or it comes as a plugin for Revit. So while working on Revit, you have learned about you learned about Revit modeling and all the things about Revit, right? So
Yes.
if you're creating a wall or doing something, all these things you're doing manually. You're just going in some tab and then selecting component and then placing it. All these things are happening manually. So Dynamo is a programming where manage tab. So Dynamo is a programming which will automate things. So if you're doing repetitive manual tasks which are same like placing some desk, so you're just selecting this, then you're copying this to here. So this is like time taking. For smaller project it won't feel like much of work, but when project gets like larger, so in that time it's really difficult to do this repetitive task, right? So in that case you can do the programming. So Dynamo is a visual programming. So in case most who people will work on Revit, architects, civil engineers, and then construction professional, right? Who doesn't have the programming background? So we for those people we have developed they have developed a Dynamo which is called as base visual programming. What does visual programming mean is you won't have to do programming. It's just you'll be um, you'll be creating the nodes, the inputs and output. Having a little bit of programming background is always adds up, but even if you don't have any programming background and you want to learn Dynamo automate things in Revit, then also you can do it. So when I in this also you have two tabs. One is you can see my cursor, right?
Yes, yes.
Can someone? Yeah. So in this we have two um, tabs. to this thing, right? One is Dynamo. This is used to create script, okay? And this is Dynamo player. So once you create a script, you can use, this is one of the advantage of Dynamo. You'll say for one project, if you have to do, you if you have to go in a project, consider there is 10 story building which has windows. You have to add some parameter like for your organization specific. So there are some parameter in window. When when I say parameter, I mean this. So if I'm placing a window, so this window has this parameter. It has level, seal height, image, comments. These are called parameters. So apart from this parameter, your office might need to have one more parameter, and then you have to fill some value. For example, we won't go in that, but if you see this head height, so what if I want head height for all the windows same, for the all the 10 story building window? So what I have to do is, if there are so many windows, I'll be selecting, I'll go in 3D, consider this as like 10 floor building. I'll be selecting this, I'll go in filter, I'll select window, and then I'll change the head height, which is like lots of work. If you're lots of windows or thing, then if you have to do in multiple projects, this is one project, and then there comes another project. So for this repetitive task, if you know how to perform that task manually, you can automate that. So there is always a chance to automate things. Okay, so you create script. So to automate, you have to create a script. Okay, so you create a script using this option Dynamo, which comes under Manage tab. Okay, after that, this is Dynamo Player. Once you create a script, you can just go in this. You can click and explore. There will be some sample script. See, so this is like music player. Once the music is composed, you have to just play it. So you just have to play the script. So there are script. One, press play for more information about Dynamo player, add levels about selected level. So there are things you can add level, you can um, place some components, you can change some parameter. For scheduling also, you can use Dynamo really effectively. This is what I started when I started working on Dynamo. I started doing automations in schedules. So there are lots of opportunities for you to automate in Dynamo, using Dynamo. So I'll just click on this and open a Dynamo. This is a plugin inside Revit. Okay, and then just, so this is your start um, screen. Um, this is new. So if you want to create any new script, you will click on this option, and then we'll see custom node later. And if you're already created some script, you'll just click on open, and you'll open that script if you want to work again on that script. And then if you're working on something, um, like if you're working on some scripts, it will show under recent. Right now I don't have anything under anything created, that's why it's not showing anything. After that, backup, this backup location there, and then ask tab. So Dynamo has like lots of question and answer forums if you're stuck somewhere. So people have really active community. So where you can go and see. So if you're facing some problem that someone might have faced already, and then they have asked question there, so you'll find most of the answers. So you can check out this also discussion forum. Then if you click on this lets you go to this Dynamo website. Okay, and then this is for reference. So if you are like you really it would be really helpful for you if you check this out, so you can check it out. This is for reference. Getting started, you'll see some reference which will help you to learn Dynamo for beginners. There is Dynamo dictionary, there are video tutorials, so you can check this out. Then there is repository for like coding. If you are doing high-end programming, and then all the, so Dynamo is built. Let me just give you one. So Revit, this Revit is based on C sharp language. Do you know the programming languages? At least names of programming languages.
Yes, yes, yes.
No,
So,
ma'am.
um, so there is language C sharp, C, you know, C, C++. So Revit is created with the C sharp language. So all these things are like, when Revit is developed in backend, they have used C sharp app development, right? People develop app. Um, so they use some programming language. So Revit is also one app. So to develop a Revit, uh, C sharp language is used, and to develop Dynamo, where is this Dynamo screen? To develop Dynamo, they have used Python. So this is built on Python language. Okay. And then there are some samples, you can go through it. So all these are reference file. So you can just open and check it out. For now, I just open a new Dynamo graph. This is called as graph. Whenever we are building a script, it's called graph. Okay. So this is how the Dynamo uh, the screen looks like. And then from here, if I click on file, you can again create a new workspace. This is workspace. So it's all the white space you see, this is called Dynamo workspace. This is where you will build your scripts. Okay, there is edit tab, there is new view tab, there are some settings also that you can do, various settings. So at time to time we'll go through all these things. Packages, so Dynamo packages, coding has packages with it. So basically, if you are creating one script, you're getting creating multiple scripts, that will come under package, that we'll see later. And then this is called node library. Okay, this is node library. You can always um, download, add new packages. This is like Dynamo is something that is continuously keeps on developing, keeps on changing. People keeps on adding new packages. So there's not always you will have to go and create a script. There are people who
These are
already
what kind
created
of
so many
packages?
scripts. Sorry.
These are what kind of packages? मतलब packages in the sense?
Packages in the sense, if you see coding, packages, let's see. Yeah, so there is option in the, that's it, यही तो है, एक minute, I'll close this workspace. This is, there is option of custom node, so you can create your custom nodes also. Now what is node? So again we'll go to new workspace. These are all the these are the nodes library. And what is node? This are node. So this library contains all the nodes. If I click on this, something will appear on my workspace, right? So this is called as node. Okay, this is node. So sometimes this is default library. So this is Dynamo's default library. But sometimes default library is also not sufficient when you're working on Revit. For example, when you started working on Revit, initially you will feel okay, all the tools are sufficient for my working, but then there will be one point where you will be like, there are some limitation for Revit, you cannot do this, you cannot perform this. So after that, add-in tabs comes, add-in um, comes, where people will develop add-ins which will, like, you cannot perform something using, these are default options, right? And then these are add-ins. So for Dynamo packages, it's like you will be creating your custom nodes. Wait. Um, so you can create your custom nodes, that comes under add-ons, generative design, then Revit. There are multiple. There are so many famous nodes, packages. So that packages you can come search for a package, and then you can search for package and you can download. uh, we will look into this like later. You won't know this completely in the beginning. So I'll just close this, and if I want to, I don't want this, so I'll just simply click on this. Can you see when I select it, it gets blue, and then I'll just delete it. Press delete on my keyboard, that's it. Okay. So this is called node library. This is workspace, and this is you can toggle between, this is your script mode and this is your geometry mode. So you can just, you can do control B. If you just hover your mouse on it, you'll see control B is the shortcut. So if you press control B on the keyboard, it will keep on changing the mode. So when I go to graph geometry mode, I can simply go around this graph. So if I'm doing something related to geometry, so what are the things that you can do in Dynamo? First, you can first you can read the parameters, as I explained, that if you select a window and then reading a parameter, and then one is reading parameter, other is changing the parameter data, changing some input. If you're changing some input in the parameter, if you don't want 2110, this is like you want 2200 as the head height. So this is like changing in the model. You're doing changing in the model. Window is already placed, you're just changing its height, you're changing its parameter. That is one thing you can do. Or you can create a geometry also. If you want to create a wall, but not in Revit, in Dynamo example, so creating solids, that also you can do in Dynamo. So you'll have you can understand from this. There's dictionary, there's display, there's geometry tab where you can create solids, you can create all the kinds of geometry basically. There is import export. So Dynamo support lots of file formats. For example, if the file format is not in like Revit, we are not reading the data always from the Revit file. If you have some, for example, some Excel file, why would we have Excel file? So if the project schedule is in Excel, when the thing is going to happen, for example, Naviswork, we also use scheduling tab. So if you have any data or schedule, or mostly the contractors will not use Revit or uh, this Dynamo or tools like we use. So sometimes the data is in Excel. So in that case, you can import CSV, export CSV, export Excel, JSON file. There is one JSON format which is like C sharps files, or also like they comes under JSON format. Basically, there are some JSON format. Maybe Google SketchUp file. You have to read data from some another format of file. So it will come under import export. Then there's input, there's list, there's math, and then all the operations, all the things that you do in Revit, these are categorized under Revit analyze application. You can just check all the nodes. If the schedules, I'll select on schedule, schedulable field. So all these things, it shows what operation does it do. Okay. Any doubt till here?
No, no, no.
Are you
No,
getting it?
ma'am.
It's okay. Okay. So I'll just show you before, like that's it. This is zoom to fit, this small option, zoom to fit, plus 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 zoom, zoom out, zoom in. When we are in geometry mode, this is background 3D preview navigation geometry mode. If you come under this, now I can't do it. Like even if I can pressing plus minus, because this is for graph. This is not for geometry. So I'll show you. So basic, we'll start with it does automation. Okay, so we won't start with directly Revit. I'll show something else, so we can go with math. Okay, So in math, under operators, we have plus node, minus divide node, minus node. Okay. So all this. So I'll just click on plus. So when I click on plus, I click twice. The system is okay. So I clicked on plus node. So this is what called as node. So on the left side there will be inputs. So if you have to add any data, do any operation, so left side will have input and right will have output. Okay. So x and y. So to do any plus operation, you'll need two numbers, right? So it has two inputs and one output. So what we need to do the plus operation, like addition, we need two numbers. So for that, what I'll do, two things I can do. First, what I'll do, I'll go to input. So do you know there are four, how many types of input are there? I'll uh, so input is this. These are all inputs, something we have to do, give the input in this. So inputs basically comes in um, four formats. One is number, one is integer. Integer is, do you know the difference between number and integer? Can anyone tell what is the difference between number and integer? What is number, what is integer?
Integers can be either negative or positive, like 0 से plus की side and 0 की minus की side.
No, that's not the plus minus is not the thing here.
Yes.
So I tell integer one is
Integer
integer. Yeah, yeah. Go on.
integer is 1 1 0
Yeah.
0.
So yeah. So if I write one, this is integer. If I write 1.000, this is number. So anything which comes under point, this is called as number. And if the before digit, if I'm writing anything is like 1.23, so this is number. And if you're like 123, there is no 1.2. No, this is 1, 2. These are called as integer. Is it clear? 1, 2, 3, 4. All the whole numbers are called as integer. 1.111, this will be number. Okay. Then there's again like integer and long. Integer is 4 bytes, long is 8 bytes. That is more into programming, but we won't see that. There's integer and there's then number. And so this is integer. Scale value cannot be 100.5 or something. So this is integer here. And then if you see here, this is number, right? Point 0. So this is number, two inputs. After that, this is like projection mode. We have something written. So whenever there is text goes as a input, so this is in text, this is text, this is called as string. So string is a input type, data type, sorry. And then there's character is just like a b c d. If you here we don't have any example of character, so it's just character is only one character, a b c d, like that. So that is character as a input. And then boolean, do you know, anyone knows what is boolean, guys? Yes, anyone know what is boolean?
मैम पाइथन में पढ़े हुए थे, अभी याद नहीं है.
You learned python. So there should be
Yes.
like basics when you start learning Python. Basic starts with learning data types, right? So Boolean
Yes.
is when the answer to a question is yes or no, true or false, on or off. Like only two option, like in this crop view, yes, no. So this data type is called as boolean. So even if you learn in Revit, not even you don't need to go that far to Dynamo. In the Revit also, um, if you learn more in Revit, there is under manage tab there are project parameters things. So if I want to create one parameter, add one parameter. So in here, any parameter like uh, building number. So in this, by writing building number, what I expect my input to be a number, right? Which will be building number can't be 1.5. It will be 1 or 2 or 3 like that. So I am expecting my data type to be a what? Integer. So here you can see what is type of parameter. So text, integer, angle, all these are parameters. But these are in Revit. Uh, in Dynamo, there will be only four types of input, which we'll see. So here you can see yes or no parameter. If the answer is yes or no, like this crop view, annotation, far clip, section box, all these are yes or no parameters. So while creating schedules also you will see this option. You can create this parameter. So for now building number, so this parameter will be integer, not text. So I'll just write in, put on integer. So these are the data types, data inputs that we can see in Revit also. Okay. This is the example of creating um, data types. And then what else? Okay, we'll go back to our Dynamo का graph. ठीक है. So in this, what I was explaining, हाँ. So in input you can see under basic input there is boolean t/f. Can you see true or false? So output will be either true or false. Then there's input. If you like, there's custom parameter, function parameter we use with custom nodes, just a input. This is integer slider, integer and integer slider, two things. So this is integer slider, this is number, which I explained. Difference between integer and number I already explained. You're going 40? No, I'm busy. It will take time. So so I'll explain what is integer slider and what is integer. So number and then string. String is, what is string? I just told what is string.
Text.
Yes, text. So if the input is text, if my answer is in text, I'll use string as a data type. Okay, so all these are data type. So back to our mathematical operation. In this, what we are performing, mathematical operation. So what do we need? We can either use number like this, or we can use the integer. So it won't come like integer. And then one thing, this is the one way of searching. Generally, initially when you are exploring, you can go check each and every node and its category. But then if you expand, keep on expanding, you will see that there are lots of nodes and it gets really overwhelming if you want to search a typical node. So finding a node is difficult. So in such case, this search button will help. So what I want is integer. So I'll just start typing integer. So we don't have integer, we have integer slider. So I'll just take integer slider. We have number slider also. Slider right now we'll see later. So I need one more number. Like we will take two numbers to do the mathematical operation. So to get one more number, what I can do, I'll just search number and I'll click on this, so I'll get number. Or you don't want to search this, if you already have this node and you want to copy like Revit, so I'll just select this, Control C, Control V. I got another number parameter. So in this, let's put some data. For example, 2. We'll keep it simple for now. 2 plus 2 or 2 plus 3. So these are inputs. When we searched about it, we found it under input. So all these are input. Okay. And this is our node which will perform some operation which is addition, and it needs two inputs. So I have these two inputs, and what I'll do, I'll just single click on this, so this wire will come. This is wire. So you just click on single click and then single click on this. Okay, and then click on this and click on this and done. So if you want to check what is the output, so there is a node called as watch node. Watch node is simply this node displays output. Okay, so whichever output that's there, if you connect this to this, you will see the output. So by adding 2 and 3, I got output as 5. That's simple. Understood? Any doubt till here?
No.
Okay. So I want you to notice something. If the data type is complete, what's happening? Yeah. So once this node gets all the required data type, in that case it turned gray, dark gray. If I disconnect this, can you see now? It's not it's blank because it needs one more output. Also you can give single input to multiple inputs like this. Like my x and y both numbers are same, in that case I can connect single output to multiple inputs. I cannot do this. It will automatically get disconnected to this. You can play around, you can open Revit, you can open Dynamo, you can play around, and then maybe tomorrow come with doubts why this is like this and stuff. We can discuss that. Okay, one way to know the output is this: watch node displays the output always. And then also if you go and hover over this, and then you'll get output from here. If just ऐसे करके, you'll see the output from here. If you want like output to be visible all the time, also you don't want watch node, so in that case what you do, you just pin this output, pin. Now you can play around like 5 7, matlab it's automatically getting updated. Why it's happening like this? Because the script is running continuously in the background. So there's this button in the bottom left which has this setting to manual and automatic. So we have set this is set as automatic, that's why our script is running automatically. If I change the setting to manual, then now I have run option. So in this case, even if I change this output to 10, so what should be my output? 2 plus 10, what's happening? 2 plus 10 should be 12. But the script is not running in the background because we have changed the setting to run manual. And this is really important. This is for like, I'm just adding numbers, but when you're doing something which will like keep on changing, if you're just connected one input, script is running, and then it will show you multiple warnings or errors. Okay. And then if you're doing something which is taking some data in Revit in the background, so in that case it's always a better practice to, whenever before starting your work, just change your this setting to manual, and then you can just run whenever your script is ready. Okay, this is ready, now I can run. like that. Clear? So it's this. Any doubt?
What is
Are you
advisable? It should manual or automatic?
it should be manual. Always, if
Okay.
you're working on script, if you're working on some creating some complex script, this is like right now, this script has only 3 nodes. But when you start working, actually, I have my script in my laptop, so I'll show you my script. So it won't be this simple. They'll have multiple of this inputs, this nodes. This is called as nodes. So in that case, it's always a better practice to change this into manual. By default, it's automatic. Whenever you start working, it will always be set to automatic. You go and change it to manual. Okay, any other question?
Just
Ma'am,
wanted to know
is
how it
any
is used.
advantage of many?
Yeah.
Go on. No,
Sorry,
no. Go on.
Are you saying something?
No.
Okay, I'll move forward then. Uh,
ma'am,
what
I
next?
want
Oh,
to ask something.
what?
I want to ask something.
Yeah, please go ahead then.
Yes, just I wanted to know कि how it is useful in respect of like Revit. जैसे अभी you told give us the example like कि window head height if we want to change. So how it is related to that? Can you just give me a small example so that I can get an idea how it is
Okay. You want to know the uses uh,
with
of
respect to like software like Revit or something.
yeah. Okay. So you know that there is automation going on in every field. In every field, so this is one kind of automation. Like people used to do first. People used to draw all the building plans, elevation section in drawing. Then Revit came. This is like automation to your one step ahead from your drawing, manual drawing, right? And then in Revit, you are doing all the modeling part manually. So this is time taking. So one thing, if you learn to automate repetitive tasks, if you are doing one thing which is taking you 8 hours, whole day you are working on something like placing windows or doing something. Okay, so why I'm giving example of placing windows only, what I can show you. When we start creating scripts now, that time you'll get more clearer idea. For now, just understand to automate the repetitive task that you're doing for like if for example if you have 12-story building and for each floor you are doing same thing, that suppose that you have a office building like this. Let me just show you. This is my office work, but for example this is office, so you have to place this desk family. So placing each family would be like selected, copy, and it's like it's really frustrating if you are working on the long large floor plate. Okay, so in that case it's always better to automate such things. Maybe if I want to create some schedule or create new parameter, I'll show you how the custom parameter works. So what else? So these are our in-house parameters. So this is needed by my organization. So like this. So creating, adding data to this. So this is not single light in the whole project. If I do select all, SA, which is the shortcut for is select all instance in entire project. So I selected a random light, which is like, okay, it's only one in a project. if I do this and then if I do essay select all, there are 20 piece of furniture, and for each piece of furniture I have to put some information or something like that. So what manually I'm doing, I'm just clicking once select all and then changing this parameter, and I have to do this um, for all different projects or whatever. So in that case it's easy to just go and automate. You can automate the sheets also if you want to create a sheet. Creating sheets is also thing that can be automated. You can create the levels, you can create the levels automatically also. I'll give you example. In my previous office, there was a standard by client that all of his sheet name should be in uppercase. Okay, and then I named all the sheets in lowercase. I had no idea, so it has to be like this. So what they required was, maybe we'll just write a name in capital. I guess, yeah. So they wanted this a name. I mean any sheet name, maybe section elevation, and I did this. So what option do I have to correct my work? I'll have to go and each, and this is not only limited to 10 or 20. I did this for like uh, entire sheet set. I did this mistake which was like 70-80 sheets, and if I have to click on each sheet, each thing, and then go and then rename. Even if I do, how much I can automate, how I can fast the work. um, I can just copy this and name, right? And then in Revit that much is possible. If I go and rename and then like, still this is time taking, tedious job that I don't want to do. I want to do some creative work. This is like, this can be automated. You can just tell Dynamo, tell Revit, just read all this and just convert this into uppercase. So I guess you have that sample script in here. Yes, okay, we can do this right away. So these are all sheets. Let's name something else, something different, not only a name. um, Section details. Details. Section details. No, I changed the number here. So again, this can be renamed to plants or something, and so on. So there are these sheets, and the names of this sheet I want in capital. So let's say we have already created a script which will read this sheet names and convert it into uppercase. So I'll go to Dynamo player and I'll just run this. It's same like playing a music. You are playing the script. I'll just click on this. You just keep your eye on this. Okay. इधर देखते रहो. I when I'm playing the script. So I'll just click here, and what it will do is close Dynamo to continue. Okay, so we cannot perform any we cannot run any script while Dynamo is open in the background. So I'll have to close this. I'll no. Now let's try. It's not my Revit. Okay, here again I'll try to run this, and done. So I don't have to go through, even if it had 50 or 100 or 1000 sheets. It just changed the lowercase to uppercase within seconds, which is like which is like really cool, right? Is this example enough?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
Uh,
Yeah, okay.
what about the
So this
schedule
is
and
one
quantity?
use case. What?
What about the schedules and quantity? Dynamo, can we automate the schedule and quantity?
Automating the schedule quantities, you are saying.
Yes, yes.
Schedule quantities are already automated. I mean, if you add some component in model, it will automatically reflect in schedule. What you're saying by automating schedule in this?
No, no. Basically, you have to say Dynamo can automate the details, elevation plan sections.
Detailings, you're saying 2D detailings.
Yes.
It's quite it's quite complex based on your specification, based on your requirement. But yeah, you can add the dimension in the plan using Dynamo. That you can do. I'll show some of
Oh,
my automation that I did, but I don't work on Dynamo anymore. I because the Revit is based on C sharp code, so we have created some C sharp codes. So these are codes. This is the code that I have written. Then there are some these are codes. So this is like this is based on our requirement, for example. So these are all automation. In this I don't need to run the player. I'll just click on this and then it will automatically get
these are the plugins.
what
These are the plugins. A bulk or a ghost booster.
these are plugins which I created using C sharp language, not Python. Dynamo is based on Python language, so we'll learn that. What else? Okay, so this is one use case of Dynamo. You can change the lowercase to uppercase sheet numbering. You can name the sheet, you can create new sheets. Also you can add the views on the sheets. So there is one option in Dynamo. When we are moving forward, we'll see this. Also one use case will be accuracy. When you're doing something manually, there is room for error, right? If someone is doing something manually, like copying some, I for example I need the desk to desk distance should be 500. 500, why did I escape? 500. If I'm copying this desk manually, what I'll do, I'll just select this and then I'll type 500 and then I'll press enter. Okay, no, whatever, you got it. So this is 500. So ऐसे when we do it like this, there is some room for mistake. Manually you can do error. If I have to fill the data 2200, but if I'm doing manually and then I am not like paying that much attention, there is chance of mistake when you're doing work manually. But you run the script, simply just go and run the script, so it's more accurate, data is more accurate. So it's like smart work. Do you want to see the example of smart work?
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
I don't know, we'll see. This is what I was imagining. So this is, if you're doing something like this in Revit, if you learn the Dynamo script, you can just, this is automation, this is smart work. So you using Dynamo will be a smart work. But yeah, you can't like start working on Dynamo right away, because you have to learn to walk before run. So just first you need to learn the modeling, because that way you'll know what all steps do I need to automate the script. So I should know. So in if I want to just change this parameter to some 2500, so in that case I should know what I'm doing manually. So I select this and then I'll read this parameter, then I'll input value. So these are 4 5 steps. So this 4 5 steps, I'll write it in my code language. Also I'll put that logic. This is the logic. In coding language, this is called as logic. Okay, so let's go back to Dynamo again. Go back to our new tab and this is a Dynamo graph. This is called as workspace graph. So that's it. Feel free to just expand all these library categories and check. And then it has, if this is mostly self-explanatory. If you click on it, you'll get to know. Okay, I'll tell you one more thing. Difference between number and number slider. So I'll just search here. I don't want to check the category. I'll just like number. This is number, and there's number slider. Okay. So number slider has, if I click on this drop down, it has minimum value as 0, maximum as 100, and step count is 0.1. So by 0.1, by the increment of 0.1, it will increase. Understood? This number slider, this is slider. Minimum value is 0, maximum value is 100, and step is 0.1. If I say my step is 1, in that case, my numbers will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till maximum value will be 100. So this is number slider. So in some case, if you're creating also, when you're creating complex geometry, like all the complex architectural building that you see, which works on some, which are created using some algorithm, so that also, like, you can automate, and in this number slider you can just essay. I'll show you this the script, how we can use this number slider in a script. So if I'm writing my step as 0.1, it will increment by 0.1. So this is number slider, this is single input number, this is number slider. So you can see the changes in real time. We'll again go to plus node, plus math operation we are doing. So now this is x, this is our y, and it turned gray. तो हम अभी देखते हैं that इसमें अगर मैं, this is my fixed input, अगर मेरा x वैल्यू हमेशा फिक्स है तो मैं बोलूँगी इसको 5, और इसके बाद में ये मेरा वैल्यू फिक्स नहीं है, स्लाइडर है, जैसे कि I want multiple inputs which will be by increment of 0.1. So if my input change हो रहा है, this is input 75.4 plus 5, this is 79.1. So that's like this. So this is number slider. For parametric families or geometry, you can use number slider more effectively instead of number. Any doubts still? Okay, we'll stop till this. Any doubts do you have till now? Anything related to basics of this Dynamoka workspace or Revit? Any doubt do you have in this?
Ma'am, can you please share the plugin link or something, because I think I don't have this plugin in my Revit. So I
No,
want.
no, no. You should have. Do you have Revit in your system?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you open Revit, go under Manage tab, and under Manage tab, you'll find in the last Visual Programming. So udhar Dynamo hota hai.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
check once.
yeah.
So
Dynamo
basically, ma'am,
comes inside Revit. What?
there is no difference in version 22 or 24 in Dynamo.
Your
Dynamo are
voice is
similar.
not clear.
Now it's clear.
Yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah, ma'am. I want to say that, ma'am, there is no difference in between Revit 22 or 24. Dynamo are similar or not?
Yeah. So with each release of Revit, with each version of Revit, there are some major uh, updates in Dynamo also. So I have 19 Revit, 22 Revit, 24. Tomorrow I'll download 23. You have 23, right? So
No, ma'am. I have 24.
so
24.
24. Okay. So there is major difference in Dynamo. They have done some major updates in Dynamo. So if you open Dynamo 24, we will compare this also. Um, Revit Dynamo in earlier version, how was it? And there are some updates they did in Revit 23 also. And then Revit 24 has like complete different look of Dynamo. So let me just show how Dynamo looks like in Revit 24. So I opened Revit 24. Just try to learn which are new updates on Revit 24. Um, so this is our Dynamo. This is this is our Revit 24. Revit 24 has some major updates in terms of you can change the theme also to black. Like you change the theme for apps, you can change theme for Revit also if you want to change it to black theme, like the dark theme, light theme. You can explore the Revit thing. I'll just show you Dynamo. You go to manage tab, you click on Dynamo. So this Dynamo is will be little different than the I was not sure if everyone has Revit 24. That's why I started on the old version. So if I go to new tab, here you will see this workspace is slightly different. If you see the nodes library, this is also different. And then they have some generative design also they added. Learn about generative design, take it as your like self study thing. um, so this Dynamo graph, but whatever I'll teach you on this Dynamo will be applicable to earlier version Dynamo, will be applicable to the new version also. If you see this and 24 graph, it's different. And then you also have some added generative design packages added under add-ons. And then you can compare the differences, what are the differences in earlier versions Dynamo, and what are the updates they have done in the new Dynamo. So if I place any node, it looks different. See, this is the node. If I go to simply go to dictionary, so this node is different than this node. So earlier the node will was looking like this, but in Revit 24 it looks like this. So you can tell me which Revit version you want to go ahead with, and then we'll learn Dynamo on that Revit. Anything is fine with me.
I think 24 is latest. We can start with the 24.
You want to learn on 24? Is everyone agree to learn Dynamo on 24? That way you'll get to know the updated information on Dynamo. So yeah, you can also give your thoughts, Abhinav.
No, ma'am. 2020.
What?
2020.
2020?
Yes.
2020, on 2020 you want to learn Dynamo. Um, okay.
Bro,
I think
24 is latest. There is
24 is latest. Yeah.
yeah.
22 won't have when you start working on 2020's Dynamo graph, you'll find some limitation. With every version they'll get better, they'll fix their bugs, they'll fix their limitations. So it's always good to work on updated Dynamo, updated software version, anything. So I was like, I didn't want it to directly work on 24. So we can start with 23 also. Anyway, we'll see. If you have side by side, you have to practice also. So if you're comfortable with 24, then I can go ahead with 24. So you decide and then you tell me what works for you.
Humbly I request you, please speak Hindi.
What?
Ma'am, humbly
Actually,
I
ma'am, no,
request you.
we can decide and talk to you later. Okay, which is good idea, I think.
Okay, from next class, I guess 22 or 23 I'll continue. If you want on 24, then that's fine.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
So,
Okay, ma'am.
so everything basic idea will be the same for each version. So if I'm doing on lower version, anything that you can do on the higher version also. So that's it. You go ahead, you check, um, you learn, you open the Dynamo in Revit, you see, you explore all the options there are, and then come with doubt. And tomorrow we'll continue with the scripts.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
ma'am, humbly I
Yeah. Go.
request you,
Uh-huh.
please speak Hindi.
Speak Hindi.
Yes.
Okay, I don't have any problem in speaking Hindi.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try from next class. ठीक है, that's it. कल फिर
मैम मैम
हम
आप
स्क्रिप्ट
जितना बोलते हो
क्रिएशन से
समझ में
आगे
आता है,
बढ़ेंगे.
लेकिन यस यस
Yeah, fine, fine.
आप जितना समझाए हो वो समझ में आया, लेकिन आप हिंदी में उसको थोड़ा
हाँ
बताइए।
हाँ, ओके ओके, ठीक है. ठीक है, सो कल से हम डायनामो में स्क्रिप्ट कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं वो सीखेंगे. ठीक है, इट वोंट
तो
टेक. यू अंडरस्टूड? आज जितना भी मैंने सिखाया वो आपको समझ गया ना? कुछ डिफिकल्ट लगा क्या
यस
आपको?
यस, नो 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 नो,
Okay, because if you're not working on Revit for at least आप एक साल के लिए अगर काम नहीं कर रहे हैं Revit पे, तो
यस
थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट जाएगा आपको मॉडलिंग. पहले तो यू आर लर्निंग मॉडलिंग इन Revit, और फिर उसमें नेक्स्ट स्टेप उसका है डायनामो. तो आप पहले तो अच्छे से Revit सीखो. योर मेन फोकस शुड बी लर्निंग Revit, मॉडलिंग इन Revit, और फिर उसके बाद में ऑटोमेशन. तो अगर कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आता है तो आप नोट्स लेके रखो. मे बी अभी नहीं, लेकिन आपके फ्यूचर में आ, आपको हेल्प लगेगी. ठीक है,
यस यस।
अंडरस्टूड. ठीक है, कल आप प्रैक्टिस करो. आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे उसके बाद ही आई गेस आपको डाउट आएंगे. आज तो सारा आई डोंट नो इंट्रोडक्टरी था. तो आप एक्सप्लोर करो, और
यस
कल कुछ डाउट रहेंगे तो वो विल डिस्कस पहले, और उसके बाद हम अगले स्क्रिप्ट को डिस्कस करेंगे. Okay, then that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
थैंक यू मैम।
Thank you.